Chapter 27, Spatial Distribution of Species and Ecosystems. Section 27.3, Disturbance. So we've talked about disturbance just a little bit. We can define disturbance as any process that acts to disrupt an ecosystem, a community, or a species population by changing resource availability, biotic interactions, or physical conditions. Probably the most obvious disturbance in our parts are fires. Fires often occur in forest ecosystems and burn the trees, removing what was once live vegetation and allowing for new species to germinate and take over. So it's important to recognize that ecosystems are rarely at a stable equilibrium, but it's variable. Some ecosystems are more influenced by disturbance than other types of ecosystems. So for example, tropical rainforest, while it has disturbance in it, the disturbance is usually takes place in terms of a tree dying and knocking down a couple other trees, opening up a patch where new individuals can germinate. In temperate forests, like the forests in BC, fire is the major factor causing disturbance, and it usually burns many acres of forest ecosystem. So disturbance can vary in terms of how much damage it causes to an ecosystem or a community. It can cause the complete removal of vegetation in animals or the partial removal of vegetation in animals. Some examples of disturbance besides fire include windstorms, volcanic eruptions, human logging, climate change, severe flooding, disease, and pest infestation like insects. For example, the damage that's being caused by the pine beetle would be viewed as disturbance. Human activities have been a major type of disturbance on natural ecosystems. We have changed the structure and dynamics of many different types of ecosystems, often for the purpose of growing food. For example, the conversion of grassland and forest ecosystems into agricultural cropland. But we also disturb natural ecosystems by, for example, through forestry, by removing trees. And sometimes that's clear cut, and sometimes it's not. It's just taking out a tree here or there, and so on. Around Kelowna, there was a really bad year in 2003 when it seemed that all of BC was on fire. There was 2 years of low precipitation, high summer temperatures, and that resulted in fires occurring all over BC, and actually even to the south of us. These fires are shown in this satellite image, so you can see the fires burning and the smoke that they created. And just in the southern part of Kelowna is Okanagan Mountain. It was on fire, and you can see there's a huge fire located in the bottom left-hand side of this image. That's Okanagan Mountain. So Okanagan Mountain has been in recovery mode for more than 15 years now, 17 in fact, and it was completely devoid of vegetation after the fire, and we can see that vegetation is coming back. In fact, there's quite a few trees that survived the fire, so you can see trees that are standing, that look healthy, These trees were able to survive the fire, while those burnt sticks sticking out of the ground, those are trees that didn't survive, and their stems are still sticking out of the ground even after 15 or 18 or 17 years. Another form of damage that can result in disturbances is wind damage. Hurricanes can cause extreme winds, and it knocks down trees and acts as a disturbing event. The final image I have here is flooding. So you notice that these trees don't have leaves. They are dead. At some time, they survived in this low-lying area, and they were growing, but it's obvious that what caused their demise was that for some reason this area flooded and a pond remained, and you can see the cattail vegetation there. It's a number of years old, so sometime in the past, this area, its hydrology changed, that pond formed, and the trees that were once not in water died off because their roots were in an anaerobic situation.